You're listening to the Sacred Mama Podcast. I'm your host, Kara Ray, aka the Sacred Mama. I'm a mindset and relationship coach, helping mothers nurture the relationship between themselves, their spouse, and their children. This is also sometimes inside of a co-parenting relationship. This podcast was designed specifically for mothers, stepmothers, and soon-to-be mothers to come together and truly support one another, to have the real, raw, honest, unfiltered, and soulful conversations about the realities of motherhood. My goal is for mothers to reclaim their self-worth and reclaim their self-identity while navigating motherhood. It's time you treated yourself as a priority because most of all, you matter. I believe that you can have the thriving family life. I believe that you can have the booming business. And I believe that you can have the passionate and abundant relationship. Most of all, I believe you can fully love yourself in the now without sacrifice. Throughout this podcast, you'll gain access to the minds of industry leaders and of course solo episodes by yours truly. So, let's dive in. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Sacred Mama Podcast. So I'm your host, Kara Ray, and today I have Brittany Budd on the podcast. And so I've been looking forward to this interview, honestly, you guys, for weeks now since we started talking. And so I just want to give you a little bit of an introduction. So Brittany is a mindset and business coach specifically for female entrepreneurs. So she equips them with the strategies, tools, and resources that they need to step up, to take bold action, and get real results in their business and lives. So welcome, Brittany, to the podcast.
Oh my goodness, Kara, I'm so excited to be here. I've been excited, just like you, for like weeks. Ever since we connected, I've just been like, oh, I can't wait for this podcast interview. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm so happy to have you. It's nice to be able to, honestly, the online space, to be able to connect with very like-minded women, very positive women. And so it's really it's incredible. So I always ask this one question before we dive into everything, and that really is, what is your definition of motherhood?
Oh my goodness. Motherhood, you're going to make me cry with this, girl. Motherhood is unconditional love, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're pulled in a million different directions. You wear 10,000 different hats in an hour, really. And it's all for those little people. And even when they drive you crazy, you just want to squeeze their little faces. Like, I don't know about you, but you know, you're so ready for them to have a nap. But then when they're sleeping, you're like, wake up and be with me.
Yes.
And that's just motherhood to me. Just that unconditional love of ripping your hair out and having your heart explode at the same time.
That is such a beautiful definition and description of motherhood. I couldn't explain that even more, because literally there are days you literally want to rip your head out and you're so confused as to why all the things are happening in one day. And then the next you want all the love. And sometimes your kids are like, no, back off. I don't want to give you the love.
I know. I'm pretty needy about love for my kids. Like, they get a lot of kisses and hugs from me, and they're always like, Mom. I'm like, you have to give this to me. I need you.
My thing is with my young one, she'll literally be like, no, Mama, no. I'm like, I made you.
Yeah, exactly. It was long, like 10 months basically, and
yep.
Like, I grew you. You owe me. You kicked me in the ribs. You stomped on my bladder. You could at least give your mama a hug.
Yes. Yeah, that's the least you could do. And so, you know, I am so, like I said, I'm so happy to have you on the podcast, but I would really love for you to give us a little bit of a backstory on who you are and really how you got into the coaching industry, because for women who don't know you, I really want them to get to know you.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I'm a mom and a wife. I have 3 children that are here on earth with me. They are 5, 4, and 2.5. So I know all about the crazy business. And we also have a daughter in heaven. We're coming up on her 1-year birthday soon. So that's been interesting. And it's been a really interesting part of my journey, just kind of sharing that, because you know, miscarriage and infant loss is so kind of taboo these days. People don't talk about it. And so I am a mindset and business coach, and I deal primarily with women because I just have such a passion for women in business. You know, you think of being a CEO, and what do you think? You always think of this like old white dude, right? And times are changing. And
Yep.
so I have been an entrepreneur for 6 years. I started out doing investments, where I helped manage $21 million in assets successfully. And then kind of for fun, I joined network marketing because, you know, that's, I feel like network marketing is the gateway drug to
Yep.
being a coach.
Yep.
And so I joined a really great skincare company. That was 3 years ago. And I started coaching my team. And, you know, being a coach was never really, I never thought about it. You know, you kind of see these people doing it and you're like, wow, that's so cool for them. I could never do that, but that's really cool for them. And so I started coaching my team, and it was very quick that I started going, no, I got a knack for this, and I really enjoy doing it. And one of my like number one gifts is exaltation. So like being a cheerleader for other people.
Yep.
And so I was like, this is really great. So for the last like 2 years, I started kind of branching away from only coaching on my own team and coaching other women in business and empowering them and teaching them all the stuff that I've learned over the years and continue to learn, because, you know, these journeys, you're constantly learning and trying to discover different parts of yourself, and it's a journey. There's no end to it in sight. And so I've just been loving coaching. So that's like my primary focus in life right now is just coaching. And you know, as a mom, you know, you got to tell your kids what's going on, because I work from home. Like I coach at home. And so they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I have to coach the ladies. And so now they're, Mom, are you coaching the ladies tonight?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I am coaching the ladies tonight. I sure am. And they're just like, are you taking us to Disney World? And I'm like, not today. Because, you know, we are big Disney people, but they think that I only work to pay for Disney.
That's funny. That's funny.
So yeah, it's fun. So that's kind of my story so far.
I'm at my parents this evening. And so I can hear my parents in the background, and my little one, she was like, where's mom? Where's mama? And my stepmom's like, she's making the bacon.
Yes! Yes, she is making the bacon.
I was like, I love you guys. You guys are so great. As
So
they're like
supportive.
sitting there with the kids, they're like, yeah, mama's got to make the bacon, honey. She'll be out there soon.
Yes, I love it. That's so cute. And, you know, as moms, I think it's so important that our kids see this stuff and
100%.
understand mom's making the bacon right now. Like that's been like my whole thing, especially as an entrepreneur that deals with moms.
Yeah.
It's so important that your kids see that stuff. You know, I want my boys to go, my mom's a badass, and recognize other badass women and not be intimidated.
100%. Yes. Holy
and I want my daughter 100%. To be like, I want to be like my mom.
Yeah. Right? I feel like all moms want their children to like grow up and be like, I want to be like my mom. I believe in my mom. My mom did all these things. And I agree with you. That is it's a huge reason as why I do what I do. But I've also learned so much about myself and my kids and how to communicate with them. And the fact that they also want to be a part of what I'm doing. And so they're curious. And so my kids, like, especially my older kids, like probably not my like little ones, obviously, because the youngest is 6 months, but they are curious. And sometimes they'll like peek their head around. They're like, what you doing?
Yes.
Doing my work. What are you doing?
And they want to wave on your lives and just be like,
yeah. My stepdaughter actually
ladies.
comes into the live videos with me sometimes. So like she just did like a celebration live with us the other night. And she just is full on in it. Well, some days she'll literally go, well, on that live actually specifically, she decided that she was going to be like, hey, I just have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I'm like, sounds good. She comes back with makeup on her face. I'm like, where'd you get that?
She's ready. She was ready.
Just like, I needed to make myself look at it. I'm like, well, you already do. Anyway.
That's so cute. That's so cute. But like so empowering for these kids to see their moms doing this stuff, right?
Doing things, yes.
We got to show it to them.
Because we truly lead by example, and we lead by, you know, showing them that we are taking the action and taking the responsibility and really just leading our own lives, so that it also has this beautiful ripple effect into the lives of our children and our spouse and so on and so forth. And so I want to really ask you, you know, as a mom, what do you believe to be is like the biggest limiting belief that is holding moms back from actually taking action on what they desire in life?
Ooh, this is such a good question. I think that, we have a lot of fears, but I think as moms, we tend to let our kids be our reason and also our excuse.
Oh, I was going to ask you about this too. Go, girl. Go.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Like we just talked about our kids being our reason. We want our kids to see us being super badasses and making that bacon and like getting ish done. But at the same time, as a mom, and especially moms that are entrepreneurs, a lot of us do it at home. Mm-hmm. We've been able to step away from our 9-to-5s and we're home and our kids are home, and it's so easy to get kind of wrapped up in this, oh, I can't do this because, like my little guy today, he came home from kindergarten, got off the bus, he's white as a freaking sheet, he's got a fever of 100, and hello, there's a really good excuse for me to say, I can't do my coaching tonight, I can't do this podcast tonight, my little guy needs me.
Yep.
We can make our kids be our excuses. Our kids are our kids. Like realistically, I still need my mom. Our kids are never going to stop needing us.
Yep.
So if you allow your kids to be your excuse to not do something, you'll never do anything again in your life. And I think that that's like probably the biggest thing, of letting the kids be an excuse instead of the reason, and getting those lines blurred.
Yeah. And I love that you brought this up, because today was an exhausting day with my kids. It was one of those very trying days. Everything, my toddler's in this phase where it doesn't matter if it's a yes, it doesn't matter if a no, she is having a meltdown. Yeah. And like the most epic meltdown. And so it drains you. And I said and then my husband ended up having to go on the road, and I just called my parents and I said, I need to show up and I need to be here. And so by any chance, are you guys free? Like, I don't want to reschedule. I'll drive in. I would love for you to watch the kids for a little bit. And they were like, yeah, of course. Come in. Let's do this. I'll help you. And so, yeah, you can either make excuses as to why you can't do things and then wonder why you're constantly remaining stuck because you're not saying yes to opportunities and doing the things. So I believe this fully, because I used to be the person who had all of these opportunities literally like plastered in front of me. And then I would question, oh, I don't think I can do it. No, it's not for me. And then I'd wonder why things weren't going anywhere. And so I love that, because that's actually a question I was going to ask you, because I saw that post that you had written all about like how your children cannot be an excuse and a reason all at the same time. I'm like, we need to talk about this. Yes! So I'm really glad that you ended up riffing on it all on your own. And so what, personally for you, as an entrepreneur, as a mom, what has been like one of the biggest, and the way I put it is like, what is the biggest mountain like you've really had to climb through balancing like your business and your babies all at the same time?
Ooh, I think that the loss of our daughter has been the biggest mountain for us, because I've never miscarried before. I have 3 healthy children. And, we were 18 weeks. So it wasn't like an early miscarriage. I delivered a baby, and that really rocks you. And it would have been very easy for me to get in bed and not get out. Mm-hmm. And I think we all have these hurdles, maybe you haven't lost a baby, maybe you're getting divorced, or maybe you've got a diagnosis that's not great. We can all take these moments and go, I'm just going to get in my bed and turn off the lights and nobody talk to me, or we can overcome. And so, if you've kind of been friends with me since that happened back in April of 2019, I was in the hospital and I started talking about it online. Mm-hmm. I said, hey, this is what's going on in my life right now. Like literally, I'm awaiting this. It's happening to me. And when you're faced with these mountains, like I say, you can completely let yourself get buried, or you can just start hiking your ass to the top. Mm-hmm. And that's what I decided to do. I said, this is not talked about. People go through this, women go through this constantly. I mean, they say statistics is 1 in 4, but it's really more like 1 in 2, according to my doctor, but people don't talk about it. So I said, I'm going to use this as a platform. And, I always say, I don't want to be known as a oh, well, her baby died. Like, I don't want to be known as that girl. But if
Yeah.
I have to be known as that girl to kick other moms in the ass and say, let's climb this mountain together because I've climbed it.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you how to get to the top. I'll do that. And so for me, I think that's been absolutely the biggest mountain that I've had to climb. And I feel like I'm still climbing it because we all have good days and bad days in grief. And like I say, it's going to be a year coming up here soon, and that's kind of weird. And grief is a lifelong thing. So, am I at the top of this mountain? No. Will I ever? Probably not. But I'm happy to reach down and help anybody that's still kind of at the bottom and get them to where I am and take them where I'm going. So, yeah, I think for me, that's probably my mountain.
Well, and I want to take a moment and say thank you for sharing this part of you. Like, I know that you have shared this on social media, but having just you speak about it, I know that just by you speaking about it empowers other women. I struggled deeply with postpartum depression. I struggled with the fear of losing my children, and it's not something that I'd want to experience. I don't think you ever wanted to experience that either in your life. And so it's by speaking and utilizing our voice, I think sometimes women and, as a collective, we've forgotten how powerful a word can be and how powerful that, when something happens, there is always I have this belief that everything happens for a good reason, because something in my life has had to happen in order for me to learn something, even if it's a terrible situation. I believe that it is happening for a good reason in my future. It might not seem like it now, but it's coming to it'll come into fruition basically. And so I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you, because it's very raw for you, because it's also coming up to April here, and it's coming up to that year mark. And so that's also a very raw time for you. And so is there anything for a mom, for example, who's really struggling with that action base, with, really staking a claim on what her goals are and taking, like I said, that bold action, what would you say to her? What would you say to her?
It's funny that you asked this, because I actually did a post about this earlier today in my group.
Well, perfect.
Any action is better than no action. Even a lot of people get paralyzed in fear that I'm gonna take a step and it's gonna be the wrong step. Yeah. The only wrong thing that you're doing is doing nothing. You can never take a wrong step. Will things always work out for you? No, that's not the way the world works. But you are learning every time you take a step. And every time that step works out for you, you've learned what works. And every time those steps don't work out for you, guess what? You've also learned what doesn't work. Yeah. The only mistakes you can make is doing nothing.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, all I can say is yes. I'm and mic drop. We can just end there, guys. Just kidding. We're not over yet. And so I actually want to bring up the fact that I was actually listening to a soundtrack with my daughter today from the movie Zootopia. And the song, I never actually realized that song talks about failure, and that you can continue to fail and fail, but never stop getting up. And it's so beautiful. It's Shakira sings the song, actually, and it's at the very end of the movie. And my daughter was sitting there and I'll get up. And she was literally singing. And I, in my head, I'm like, I don't ever want you to stop getting back up when things happen. I don't ever want you to stop doing things, because yes, circumstances, life, people can attempt to derail, but it's ultimately your choice. You choose every single day. And this is a big thing that I speak about, is that you have the power to wake up every morning and make a choice. And what choice are you going to make today? Is it going to be today, or is it going to be the next day? Because I really hope every time a mom wakes up in the morning, she decides that today is the day. Right. Can you hear my little man crying in the background?
A little bit, but only right before you asked me if I could hear it. I just kind of heard this
Okay. I'm my parents are trying to calm him down. I'm just wanted to double check to see if anybody can hear him. I promise you he's fine. I promise you he's good. And so I want to ask you, because this is, as we kind of, as my computer flies, what has been the biggest, boldest action that you have taken this far in your business?
Ooh. Okay. I decided, so I had signed up previously for a like year-long coaching package with this coach I loved. I love her still. And so I did it for a whole year, and I was actually employed as one of her coaches, and I quit. And that was so scary for me, but I had to start building my own thing. You know, I was doing a really great job of, you know, she saw my potential, and so she hired me and was like, here, I want you to work under me. I want you to coach, like help me coach my clients. And I was doing such a great job of building her business. And I kind of got to this point where I was kind of like, I want my business to look like this.
Yep. Yep.
And so I made the very scary decision to say, you know what, I think my time is over here. And so that was just in October that I did that. And it was really scary. Actually, there's probably two scary things. That was really scary to do that. And, you know, I had been working with her for a year and a half, so I was very nervous about what is she going to think of me? What is she going to say? Like, I respect her so much and I love her, and I don't want her to think that I'm being stupid, and like, I don't like, you know, you get all these thoughts and things. So that was scary. And then like 2 months after that, another coach offered me like well over 6 figures to start coaching with her. And I was like, oh, like I just left something exactly like this. And I don't think I can do it. And I had to turn her offer down. And so that was really scary, because it's like, now 2 times I've had other people try to pay me really good money doing what I'm good at, and I'm saying no because I want to do it with my own name on it. That's scary stuff. But it's been amazing. And when those decisions came up, you know, although it was scary, in my heart, it was instant, no, this can't happen. This needs to be done, or like, I can't accept this offer. And, you know, even though I kind of thought about it for a few days and talked to my husband about it, I knew deep down in my heart, this doesn't feel right for what my path is. And I don't feel like I'm being called to this. So yeah, just kind of like going out and doing my own thing has probably been the scariest.
It takes it. Well, how do I want to word this? Try to get my thoughts out. It does take that bold action, those bold thoughts, when you stake a claim on what you want instead of what everybody else wants. It's what you want, and you finally make the decision that you choose you, that you matter. And so I think that's beautiful. And I guess this leads really into kind of like that last question that I had for you, is really like, if there's a mom who desires to start her own business, what would you say to her? Like, if she's really struggling with that right now and she's like, oh, I feel like this might take away from my family, but I really want to start a business. I want to build my business. What would you say to her right now?
It's absolutely going to take away from your kids. You guys, okay, so I think some of my best advice is, when you are first starting out, there is no work-life balance. And I liken it to falling in love with your husband. Do you remember falling in love with your husband? Like, you would talk on the phone with him until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Sleep did not matter. He mattered, and all you wanted was to be with him and to smell him and to talk to him and to know everything about him. And then you kind of got your balance back. But your sleep was completely neglected. Your friends were neglected. Your studies were neglected. Everything's neglected for this handsome man that has come into your world, right? And I also liken it to having a newborn. You know, your group is for moms. You guys all know about this. You have a newborn. You do not have any balance when you bring that sweet little bundle of joy home from the hospital. You are up all hours of the night. You are getting puked on. You never sleep. You never shower. You can't tell me you have balance, because you don't. It's a lot of front loaded time.
Yes.
Into building the relationship with your husband until you're an old married couple, or front loading all that time into that newborn until they're sleeping through the night and they're a little bit more self-sufficient and a little bit more independent and a little bit, you know, they're just kind of growing, and then you start getting that balance. If you are afraid that starting your business is going to take away from your family, it absolutely will. front loaded. You're gonna have to put in the hours. You're gonna have to put in the work. You're gonna have to do all those same things like you did when you fell in love with your husband, like you did when you brought home your baby, to make your business have a full working foundation. And then you get to have the balance back. And my friends, I know it's hard and I know it's scary, and we've all done it, those of us who have done it, where you're taking time away. You know, you're prioritizing your business over your kids sometimes. And it doesn't make you a bad mom.
Nope.
It goes back to, are your kids going to be your excuse, or are they going to be your reason?
Yeah.
And if you're going to let your kids be your excuse, again, they're always going to need you. But if you let them be your reason, yeah, you have to make those sacrifices. But holy Hannah, when your business is built and floating, you get to do so much more than you ever thought you could. You can pack up your kids and move to Italy for the month, some summer, if you feel like it. You can take them on all kinds of trips. You can do all kinds of things with them and be so intentional with your time and not be worried about your business. It gives you that freedom. But yes, you have to front load that work at the beginning if that's what you are wanting to do. So do it for the children.
I love that. And so I think this is a beautiful opportunity to bring everything back around. So if there is there anything else that is on your heart that you would really love to share with the moms that are tuning in, that are listening, before we officially wrap it all up today?
I think that if you're listening, you know, this has been a business podcast, and if you are listening to this and you are feeling that call to more, you know, maybe you don't know what it looks like, but if you're feeling that call to more, start exploring what that looks like and just do it. You know, kind of in the theme of this whole episode, let your kids be the reason that you do things so you can be there for all the things. I mean, it's so painful to hear of these moms that are missing out on, you know, holiday concerts and recitals and awards and sporting events and all these things because they have to work. This doesn't have to be the way, but just start taking that bold action. Just start taking the action, because like we said earlier, no action will leave you where you are. You want change in your life, take action. So if you're listening, take a bold step today. Step out of your comfort zone today. Do something that's a little bit scary today and start working towards your goals.
That's beautiful. I love it.
Thanks.
I love it. Yeah, you're very welcome. And so I want to say thank you for being on the podcast, for having this beautiful conversation. Like you said, yes, this was a business conversation, but this has been something that is coming up a lot for a lot of the moms that I'm working with, for moms that I'm connecting with, where they want to, but they feel like they're stuck in these fears. And so I believe this is going to be a really powerful conversation for them to tune into. And so for the women who are very much resonating with your message, can you please let them know what you got going on and where they can connect with you?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm a little bit of everywhere, but you can find me on Facebook, Brittany Budd. You can friend me. I always accept friend requests. I have a great Facebook group. You can also find that through my profile. It's called Influence, Income, and Intuition for leaders, coaches, and entrepreneurs. I also have one-on-one coaching program where you can work with me for 6 months. Every single week, you can hang out with me for 45 minutes, just me and you. And we bang out goals. We bang out results. We just get it done together. And so you can find information on that. Again, just on my Facebook page is probably the easiest way. Or you can check out my blog, BrittanyBudd.com.
Perfect. And you guys, all of this will be in the show notes as well. So make sure if you want to connect with her, it'll be in the show notes. And so thank you again so much, Brittany, for being on the podcast. Thank you for having such a beautiful conversation with me. And to everybody else, I will see you guys all in the next episode. Okay. Bye, guys.
Thanks. Bye.